Rogers Center, Anthony Gose had a game-winning RBI in the 10th inning last night to win it for the Blue Jays. They won 6-5 over Minnesota. They had two great clutch at-bats in last night's game. Yan Gomes with a two-out solo home run to tie it, and then Gose won it in extra innings. Ron Gardenhire's ball club has gone through a tough season, just like the Jays. 66-94 for the season. Top of the order, a lot of speed. Denard Span, Ben Revere, Joe Mauer trying to win a batting title. He has now fallen into third place behind Miguel Cabrera and Mike Trout. Alexi Casilla has an 8-game hit streak. He'll start at second base and bat 8th tonight. And that hit streak is a pretty impressive one. 11 for 24, 3 doubles. He's driven in a pair and scored 4 runs. Eduardo Escobar, who was picked up by the Twins in the Francisco Liriano trade with the White Sox, is the switch-hitting shortstop who starts tonight.
Chad Jenkins thought his season was over in his last start, but he'll make his third and final start now tonight. He made 20 starts down in New Hampshire in AA, went 5-9, made 10 relief appearances for the Blue Jays. He's done a good job. It took him until his 6th appearance before he had an ERA for the Blue Jays. So looking for his first big league win here tonight.
Anxious to erase the memory of that last start on Friday night against the Yankees in that ballgame. Jenkins went 3 2/3, gave up 4 hits and 3 earned runs. So he gets another chance. Last kick at the can for Jenkins this year to pick up that first big league W. Denard Span takes a strike. It's 1-1. Span did not start in last night's game. He came into the ball game defensively in center field late in the game. That sinker that misses downstairs. Minnesota has a couple of pretty good guys at the top of the order to get on base and set the table for Joe Mauer. Span and Ben Revere.
Span will look you over, and he's got a very good on-base percentage, up over 340. He waits a long time at the plate before he swings at the ball.
Swings at this one and hits a high fly ball into center field. Anthony Gose is there, and Span is retired. Gose is in center field. Colby Rasmus gets the night off, and you see Rajay Davis in left. Anthony Gose and Moises Sierra round out the outfield. Escobar and Echeverria team up the middle. Laurie and Linda at the corners, and J.P. and Celia is back behind the plate tonight.
You can't get enough of Danny Echeverria. Made a great play last night at shortstop. Then we'll get to start for the 7th time at second base here tonight. He has not made an error at second base this year. His errors have come at shortstop and at third base.
Ben Revere hit leadoff in last night's game. He picked up a couple of hits in 5 at-bats. He also picked up his 40th steal, which is a benchmark. He becomes the 4th Twins player to have 40 steals in a season. First since Chuck Knobloch had 40 steals in '97. There he gets a base hit, a line drive into center.
Well, that was one of the problems that Jenkins had in his last start. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Chad Jenkins. Brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. His fastball, he's got a sinking fastball, and his last time out, he caught too much of the plate. Slider, curveball, to changeup, those are all pitches that are developing for him. I talked to him after his last start, and he told me, he said he just couldn't get the ball down for some reason in his last start. And for a sinker ball type of pitcher, that's where he has to live. He's got to live down in the strike zone.
Joe Mauer, he had 1 hit, drove in a run in the 5th inning last night. Overall, he was 1 for 5, so he dropped back in that batting race. He lost a point in the batting race. Miguel Cabrera leads the American League at 329. Mike Trout had a big night last night. He had 4 hits. He's up to 325, and Mauer is 3rd at 322. Ground ball should be 2. Echeverria to Escobar for 1. Back to first it is. A 4-6-3 double play. That wraps up the first inning. Jenkins needs just 9 pitches to set down the Twins. the injury. Jose Bautista is back with the team, and boy, is it good to see him. He has the cast off his wrist, and he is in the middle of his rehab. Take a look at the Blue Jays lineup tonight. It's Davis, Escobar, Laurie, top three. Adam Lind, his last 20 games, he's at .358. He's really done a nice job of getting that stroke together. And finishing up on a real positive note, he is the cleanup hitter and playing first base tonight. Aaron Sebia is the catcher. Kelly Johnson is the DH. Then you have Echeverria, Sierra, and Anthony goes the Las Vegas connection. That's made a pretty good impression with this Blue Jays ball club.
You know, and just like the Toronto Blue Jays had to scratch their starter and go to somebody out of the bullpen, the Minnesota Twins do the same thing. This start belonged to Sam DeNuno, but with an eye irritation, he is scratched, and out of the bullpen comes their long man. This is Anthony Swarzak. Swarzak makes his fifth start, 44th appearance of the season tonight. He was a long man, so he's not one of those guys who can give you 6, 7, or 8 innings.
Misses with that first pitch to Rajay Davis. Rajay in left field tonight. Davis had a single in his first at bat, came around and scored the first run of the ball game. Was driven in by Adam Lind, and Lind had a terrific night at the plate. Lind was 4 for 4, drove in a pair of runs.
And that whole spot in the lineup was hot in last night's game. Alan Gomes came off the bench to eventually play first base for Lind, and he homered to tie up the game in the 9th inning. First time the Jays won a game when heading into the 9th inning down.
Went down to their final out when Gomes connected for that big home run. 2-1 to Rajay Davis. He is late and fouls it off the screen. You would imagine Swarzak, coming out of the bullpen, is just going to try to go as hard as he can, as long as he can, and see how deep he might be able to get into this ball game. It's only the second time he's faced the Blue Jays. This is his first start against the Jays, just his second appearance overall. Hasn't faced the Jays since 2010 at Target Field. There's a little hop up back behind second, and Casilla makes the catch. Davis is out. Minnesota Twins in the outfield, left to right. It's Matt Carson, Bernard Span, and Ben Revere. Span and Revere both have strong arms, and they really cover a lot of ground. Eduardo Escobar is the shortstop, making his third start at shortstop. Alexi Casilla at second, Trevor Proof at third, and Chris Parmalee is at first base, and Chris Herman makes his second big league start behind the plate.
Saw him in the outfield yesterday, and in the outfield tonight, Bernard Span. He's a good player. Ben Revere is right on his tracks. He's played 120 games now in center field. He's got 6 outfield assists and just 4 errors. And there has been talk of possibly moving him in the offseason. Somebody will want him because he's very good.
Special usher working tonight, trying to find the right seat. High breaking ball. And Swarzak's been up a little bit early in this game. Yunel Escobar is batting second tonight. Escobar hit down in the order. He was 5th in the batting order last night. He finished up the night 0 for 3 with a sacrifice bunt and a walk. He gets jammed and pops it to first base, 2 outs.
That's a sneaky little fastball right there from Swarzak. Let's take a look at the rest of the scouting report on the right-hander. His fastball averages about 92 miles an hour, and it's got some sinking action on it. He can spin a pretty good curveball. His changeup has been hit hard this year. He's got a little bit of a slider. He doesn't have to nibble. He's not that type of player. He can go right after you, and he'll give up his share of hits. He's had more hits per innings pitched in 3 years with the Twins, so he'll get up the base runners. Blue Jays have to be patient with him.
This is his 28th big league start. Laurie goes after the first pitch. Brett's hitting third. We talked about Laurie and how he might profile as a middle of the lineup hitter down the road. Bouncing ball, backhanded by Plouffe. Throw is off the bag, and Parmalee does a good job of going into foul territory and making the play. Anthony Swarzak has a quick inning thanks to a nice defensive play. Plouffe at third with the good backhand, and Parmalee makes a nice catch over at first. Tonight is another Blackberry Tweeting Tuesday. Stay up to date with all the latest Blue Jays news and information during the off-season by following the club on Twitter. Submit your questions during tonight's game to @BlueJays, and your question could be selected as our Twitter fan question of the night. First baseman Chris Parmelee takes a first pitch strike. Both pitchers had a good first inning. Jenkins got Joe Mauer to hit into a double play to end the inning.
Jenkins is okay if he keeps it out of the middle and he keeps it down. I was very impressed with his sinking fastball in his last start. When he got on top of it, at times he gets on the side of the baseball and it really flattens out his pitches. That was his changeup right there, just 81 miles an hour. He threw a couple of very good fastballs. I remember one to Alex Rodriguez at the bottom, just dropped out of it. But he's got to stay on top of it. That time he got on the side of it again.
You can see how it runs flat away from the left-handed hitter, and that's also along the plane of the bat. That's when he gets into trouble. 3-1. Leadoff batter here in the second. That's popped up over toward the seats, and that's going to reach the seats. Chad Jenkins is making the start in place of Carlos Villanueva. Villanueva was the scheduled starter. But Carlos had made a career-high 16 starts. He's also thrown a career-high in innings. And John Farrell felt like it was best that they just kind of shut down Villanueva for the season. They just talked about overall soreness. This time of the year, everybody's a little beat up. But it had been a rough September for Villanueva. He made 5 starts. He had an 0-3 record with an 8.10 ERA. And a 3.14 opponent's batting average.
And if you watched him in all those starts, he just didn't have that sharp breaking ball like we saw from him when he was first moved into the starting rotation. He had a great curveball, he had a sharp slider, his changeup was very good also. But didn't see it his last couple of starts.
Yeah, and you know what? When you make 30 starts during the regular season, I think it just really brings into perspective how tough starting pitchers are, where they can really go to the mound 30 times. Anthony Ghost breaking it down on the warning track. Had plenty of room, but Parmelee's retired. 1 down.
The Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware and building center location. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Just 2 more games here at Rogers Center tonight and tomorrow. We'll wrap it all up tomorrow night. Trevor Plouffe got a great start to his night last night. He homered in his first at-bat, a 2-run home run to center field, and then he had an RBI double in his second at-bat. Bouncing ball foul. Jenkins quickly ahead 0-2. Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn are going to keep you up to date on all the baseball action going on around both leagues. There are still some things to be decided. Who's going to win the AL East? Who's going to win the AL West? And who's going to be that final wild card team in the National League?
Yeah, and you want to win one of those divisions. You don't want to be a wild card. You also want to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And right now that is down to Texas, and the New York Yankees are tied with the best record in the American League.
Same can be said about the National League with Washington and Cincinnati. Boy, that's a pretty good pitch. Too close to take. Washington, they clinched the NL East title last night with Atlanta's losing, and Washington has 96 wins. Same for Cincinnati. So they're playing for home field advantage. There's a fly ball into left. Rajay Davis jogs in a couple of steps, and he gets the pitch. 2 fly ball outs.
You know, that's one good thing about the added playoff teams, that everybody has to play all the way to the end of the season. You can, make a decision within your organization. Do I want to rest my number 1 guy and get him ready for the playoffs, or do I want to have the home field advantage? And I guess the teams with the deep pitching staffs, they can do that.
Yeah, the Cardinals are in pretty good shape. They've got Kyle Loesch lined up to pitch in a wild card game. they can skip Adam Wainwright if they don't need to play that game tomorrow night, if that doesn't have any impact on their standings. The Dodgers are 2 games behind. So if the Cardinals lose 2 games and the Dodgers win 2 games, then they will play off for that final National League wild card spot. Boy, it's really kind of interesting. And of course, the Red Sox and the Yankees are playing. Last night, the Yankees pummeled the Red Sox. And to be honest, the Red Sox had a minor league lineup.
Yeah.
No Ellsbury, no Pedroia, but it's a different story tonight. Both Ellsbury and Pedroia are in the lineup. Yes. Carson goes after that pitch. He's in the hole 1-2. Dustin Pedroia has a fractured finger. And last night he told Bobby Valentine, I'm going to tape my fingers together and I'm going to play. Well, Valentine didn't let him play last night, but he's playing tonight. Got his fingers taped together. There's a strikeout. Aaron Sebia will throw to first to end the inning, and Chad Jenkins. A 1-2-3 inning. Blue Jays bottom of the second. Adam Lind with a 4-hit night last night. He'll start things off. JP Aaron Sebia. Then the DH, Kenny Johnson. Jays fan got the good fortune to throw out a baseball. She got to meet the Blue Jays a couple of different times. She was at Holland Blueview Kids Rehab Hospital a couple of times. The Blue Jays visited her. And during the second visit, Ricky Romero had promised her a chance to throw out the first pitch. And that smile tells you everything you need to know about how Sophie's feeling about this great opportunity to throw out the first pitch to Ricky Romero. And if you don't think baseball players are role models and they can have an impact, that smile tells you everything you need to know. Congratulations, Sophie, and good job, Ricky. A job well done, and Ricky Romero catches every first pitch when he is not starting. And that's a pretty good gesture by Ricky Romero to let the fans know that even the big guys are wanting to be part of their first pitch opportunities. But Ricky, you did a great job with Sophie tonight. Adam Lind, boy, what a job he did last night. His second 4-hit game of the season. He had 4 hits, including a double. He drove in 2 runs. He was lifted for a pinch hitter in the 7th inning after he had an RBI double. Mike McCoy ran for him, and then Jan Gomes took over. And then Gomes hit in his spot in the 9th and hit the home run.
That's good managing, isn't it?
Great managing. Had it played out perfectly. Got down to the final out. Put Jan Gomes in there.
Yeah.
Gomes connects.
It's all for a reason. He's going to be okay, Jan Gomes. He's going to play some winter ball. He's a valuable guy to the team that can come off the bench, play different positions, and that was a big hit. It had been a long time since he had hit a home run.
And Jan Gomes, one thing about him, he can swing the bat, but he's also a catcher. And that's a real asset when you can have a corner infielder that can also catch. American League teams are generally carrying 12 pitchers. So if you have the versatility of having a third catcher that can also play corner positions and maybe even an emergency spot in the outfield.
And swing the bat for you, I think he becomes a very valuable type of player.
Fly ball to left field. That Carson is there. 1 down. fans, the Hit a Home Run contest is back. Every time Toronto hits a home run, you can win big. Audio home theater systems and big TVs like an 80-inch Sharp Aquos Quattron. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. JP Arencibia. He's got 18 home runs this year. Arencibia, of course, missed time with that fractured right hand. He was hit on a foul tip, broke his hand, and missed about 7 weeks of the season. Breaking ball strike. It's a ball on a strike. Arencibia took a while to get his timing back once he came off the disabled list, and I think he got frustrated to the point where he really started to have some doubts, but he got things turned around in Baltimore.
I'm going to make a prediction here.
Okay.
Second last day of the season.
I got my pen out.
Write this down.
Okay.
JP's going to have a big year next year. I think it's his third full season in the big leagues. He's now been around the block for a little bit, and pitchers have taken a look at him, and they've made some adjustments, and he back to them. Now, next year, going to be starting his third full year in the big leagues. And I think he's going to have a huge year next year.
Yeah, that's a pretty good call, and Dwayne Murphy is pretty confident that JP has the work ethic and he has the skills, obviously. A lot of power.
Well, he has the skills, and I think, you know, I was kind of chatting to him around the batting cage yesterday about this, about what's a good season for a catcher and how many games would you like to catch. And you know, he's excited. He thinks he can catch every game, 150 games, and that's hard. 135 is probably more realistic, but 25 home runs, 85, 90 RBIs, I think, are in the book for him. I think very doable for a young player with his type of talent.
Arencibia is caught looking at strike three. There are 2 outs in the inning. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. John Lester on the mound for the Red Sox, and Pedroia, he badgered Bobby Valentine until he put him in the lineup. He said, you know what, I don't want to sit here and watch the Yankees celebrate with us in town. Put me back in that lineup. It's on Sportsnet 1 right now. You can watch the Red Sox and the Yankees. Of course, the Yankees have a 1-game advantage over the Baltimore Orioles in the American League East.
How awesome is that? Dustin Pedroia has nothing to play for.
I talked to some people in Boston today, and they told me all about that, and that really got me fired up. Dustin Pedroia could close the book on his season. He said it's just a forgettable season. But here you have a former American League Rookie of the Year, a former MVP, saying, you know what, I know I got a fractured finger, but tape them together. I'm playing today because we have an impact on what the Yankees do.
Yeah, and I want to beat the Yankees. And if he shut it down, no one would say anything.
No, but he's injured.
Yeah.
Got a broken finger.
No one would question him. But he's playing, and wouldn't you know it, he would produce.
Gary Johnson takes strike three. Anthony Swarzak trying to make the most out of his start. He's retired all 6 Blue Jays he's faced. It's scoreless after 2. the best is yet to come for younger players like Lori, Ghost, Echeverria, Sierra.
Those two right there are 22 years old. Definitely think that there's more to come for these young players. They are just 22 years old. They could be seniors in college, but here they are at the big league level, trying to survive and trying to succeed at the big league level, playing against experienced players, big league players who are, out there to get them out. I think there's monster seasons for a lot of those guys. I think Colby Rasmus has a monster season in some time.
That's a fair ball, backhanded by Lynn. He flips it to Jenkins. And Chris Herman is retied, one down.
All you have to do is just watch these young players day after day, and you just see the talents. Now, if they are willing to learn and they listen to their coaches and the guys who are trying to help them, there is talent. There's baseball talent there to put together big-time seasons.
Yeah, and I think you really touched on something. You have to want to improve, and I think these kids want to improve, but sometimes they don't know how to go about it, and it's taken a while. When you really think about it, and you and I both had the opportunity to come to the major leagues, first time you get to the big leagues, it's the first time you've ever been challenged in your life. We have down times in the minors, but most of the time, all these guys in the big leagues have had big years in the minors. And then they can't understand why they're failing in the major leagues, and it's hard to accept failure for the first time in your career.
You don't know how to do it, but there are coaches here to help you, and if you take it the right way. And the ball is pulled foul down the right field line, Mike can see it. You take it the right way and learn. I think baseball players, to be good, you have to have talent, but you also have to have heart and smarts. And I think that's what the coaches try to find in some of these young players.
The Blue Jays had their evaluation meetings here on Monday, and the coaches and the front office got together and they talked about a lot of different things, and obviously we weren't privy to what they talked about. But first we'll watch Brett Lawrie handle that ball easily. Brett Lawrie got a big hop, but it had some spin on it. He made a good play and fired across the diamond to Lynn. But their meetings are very important because you have the first-hand knowledge of the coaches who work with these players every day. Not only do they see them during the course of the game, but they watch them during practice. And that's when you can really find out an awful lot about a player. How much effort he's putting into his work, and how open is he to suggestions and all of those things. And those are all keys. And here's a tough play. Escobar is going to be tagged out by Lynn. Another quick inning for Chad Jenkins. He needs just 7 pitches. 1, 2, 3 in the third. Gives us an opportunity to finish up the thoughts on our question about where these guys are headed in their career. And obviously there's a lot more upside to what we have seen. When you look at Echeverria, I mean, he is playing in just his 40th big league game. We have seen him at third base, shortstop, and second base. He's a natural shortstop. But I think if everything stays pretty much the same, with Escobar still being with the team next year, and there's no reason to think why he wouldn't be, Echeverria, I believe, gets a chance to start at second.
Yeah, some way find his way into that lineup, and right now that can be created for him if Kelly Johnson becomes a free agent and leaves.
Bullet inside the bag. This will be extra bases. Echeverria is headed for second as Carson gets it off the wall in left. How about that? Right on cue, a leadoff double. That's the first hit for the Blue Jays, and first base runner, Adeiny Echeverria, hits his 8th double of the season.
Well, you watch him, night in and night out, and you can see there's a lot of baseball talent in there. Now he's just got to go out there and get some experience, and that's why they are playing the kids the last couple weeks of the season against playoff teams, the Yankees and Tampa and Baltimore, and the Blue Jays like what they're seeing.
Hard not to like what you watch if you see him and pay close attention. He has done a heck of a job in adjusting to his time in the big leagues. Moises Sierra. Sierra has 6 home runs. Hits one up the middle. Echeverria got a good read on it. He moves to third base, and Sierra collides with Parmalee once he hit the bag at first. Good job by Escobar at shortstop.
Well, that's what he's known for as a glove man. We saw Florimon last night for the Minnesota Twins field everything, and now Escobar takes away a hit and an RBI for Sierra. It's a fine play up the middle, no hesitation, and a strong arm across the infield.
Robin Ventura, the manager of the White Sox, was very disappointed they had to give up Escobar in the Liriano trade. He really likes his skills, and you can see why. Echeverria at third. Anthony Gose at the plate. Infield is in. Gose takes one upstairs. Anthony had the walk-off base hit in last night's game. That's the first of his career. A bouncing ball single that went up the middle. Chased home Adeiny Echeverria with the winning run. Well, I got to tell you, Pat, and we're continuing this theme of talking about the youngsters we have seen come up late in the season. They're like different players. When they first got here, obviously their hearts were pounding and heart rate through the roof, but they have all made very good adjustments since coming to the big leagues.
I think more so than anybody is the guy standing at the plate. When he first came up, it looked like he was swinging at everything and just didn't look very comfortable, but now his at-bats are just better. The batting average isn't there, and he's hitting the ball hard. And I just think, when he gets his swing really sorted out, when he works with Chad Mottola and Dwayne Murphy on that, and he goes to winter ball, which he says he's going to do this year for about half the year, I think you're going to see a more polished player and a very good big league player.
Well, you have to learn that you're not going to get 3-1 fastballs all the time, and you're not going to get 2-0 fastballs. You're going to have to learn how to hit breaking balls and fastball counts. And the pitcher you see on a given night is going to have the best stuff you've ever seen until you get into your 3rd and 4th year in the big league. So it's all about adjustments. But you know what? Anthony has an awareness, and he has a desire to get better. He takes a walk.
The guys who say, or they act like they have it figured out already, those are the guys you worry about because they plateau. But the guys who keep asking questions, and you see them talking to coaches and amongst their players, those are the guys who keep getting better and better.
The young players that think they have all the answers haven't even heard all the questions yet.
That's a good way to put it.
John Farrell will join us as he does every Tuesday on Rockberry Tweeting Tuesday. He'll join us right from the dugout, and we'll get to his thoughts about some of these younger players. Scoreless ball game. The Blue Jays are threatening runners into corners. Back to the top of the order for Rajai Davis. Davis drills it down the left side, and just like last night, just a little bit too quick. He hit a couple of balls very hard, but he also pulled him into the seats down the left side.
Very relaxed at the plate right now, and you're seeing the ball. Just his approach after that baseball is so good. Front side stays in there.
Anthony Gose has a big lead at first.
Two.
0-2. Anthony has 15 steals and 18 attempts, and that's a high success rate, 83%. And that's what you want. Major league average is right at 75%. So you don't want to go anywhere below that average, give away those extra base runners. But Anthony's doing a good job as he's learning the pitchers in the big leagues. When you look at Anthony and compare him to some of the rookies in the past for the Blue Jays, Alfredo Griffin, when you look at his season, 21 steals, but look at the games played. He played 159 games, and Junior Felix was over 100. Anthony Gose is third on that list, tied with Alex Rios, and he's played half the games. That's what's impressive. His speed is explosive.
How about he is second on the Blue Jays?
Base hit for Rajai Davis. Echeverria comes in to score. Anthony Gose breezes first to third. Blue Jays lead 1-0.
He's only been up here for a short time, 50 games, and he's third on the team in stolen bases behind Rajai Davis. And when those two are on the bases like they are now, it can create a lot of problems for the opposition. He can go first to third, I think, on any ball hit to any outfielder. Ball right back through the middle by Davis, stays on that good two-strike approach right there by Rogers, shoots it right through the middle, and goes see ya. He's over to third base easily without a throw.
Danny Echeverria got it started with a leadoff double, then Rajai Davis hashers him in. Gose had a walk. He's now at third. Junel Escobar popped up to the first baseman. Ground ball. Escobar to second for one. Back to first. Double play. And that'll end the inning. Escobar hit it hard. Blue Jays have taken a 1-0 lead after 3. We'll check in with John Farrell from the dugout when we come back. Manager of the Blue Jays, John Farrell. And John, we've been talking about your young players, the guys that have come up from the minor leagues. Give us your impression of the changes you've seen with Anthony Gose from the time he first got here to the player you see in tonight's game.
Well, Buck, the one thing he's doing at the plate, he's getting his hands in a better position. We're seeing the contact point out front, kind of the front edge of the plate, as opposed to when he first came up. You saw a lot of fastballs fouled off over the third base dugout. He's been open to suggestion. The game is the greatest teacher we have, and he's made some sizable adjustments here.
Danny Echeverria, you've seen him when he first came up here. You've seen him at shortstop. You've seen him at second base. Has he done anything for you to say, like, this guy can play in the big leagues right now?
Well, Tebby, I think the one thing he's shown us is poise. He's shown us balance. He's shown us the ability to get a hit in a key spot. He's faced good pitching, whether it's been on the road, at home. And both guys that we're talking about have made very positive impressions in their time here.
John, thank you very much all season long. It's been a pleasure to have you from the dugout. We appreciate your time.
As well, Buck and Tabby, appreciate it.
Thank you, John.
Pretty interesting. The manager's perspective is one, obviously, pays close attention to his young players, and they have looked very comfortable in gaining confidence with every game. Ted Jenkins has a 1-0 lead.
We've talked about that before, about young players, and when you get a chance to bring them to the major leagues, why wouldn't you bring them here? You've got the best coaches. You're playing against the best competition. I think you're going to see the fastest development here at this level. Right before our eyes, people like Go, Sechagria, Sierra have gotten better.
I definitely think there's a right time to promote them. I don't think everybody is the same. I think you have to take it case by case. And you have to know the person first and foremost. Is he going to be able to handle early setbacks? Is he going to be able to bounce back and become the player you think he was when you signed him? And that's the biggest question that a manager and a coach has to decide as far as evaluating a young player. There's a line drive toward the gap, and that's going to get by Rajay Davis and go all the way to the wall. Denard Span is thinking about 3, and then he breaks it down as Anthony Ghost got to that ball in a hurry. So Blue Jays had a leadoff double in the bottom of the 3rd. Now the Twins have their own leadoff double off Jenkins.
Span is a good leadoff hitter. Watch how quiet he is at the plate. That's a changeup. It's a split changeup from that split grip, and it's just to throw the timing off the hitter just a little bit. But Span, I don't think you can throw his timing off. Very still at the plate and just throws his hands at that baseball. 38 doubles for a leadoff hitter. Pretty impressive.
Ben Revere bunts it back over the screen and out of play. Ben Revere trying to move a Span from 2nd to 3rd. When you look at the doubles leaderboard, Alex Gordon of Kansas City has 51 doubles, and Albert Pujols with 50. I thought Albert was off to a bad start.
That was months and months ago. Remember what we said back then, too?
Wow.
30 and 100. Write it down.
Yeah, he's got 105 ribbies. Interesting to see how the Angels handle their situation. And they have spent more money on one player, Albert Pujols, than the entire Oakland A's roster. And they didn't make the postseason.
Yeah.
C.J. Wilson is going to have surgery on his elbow. He's got bone spurs that probably affected him through most of the season. But they went out and paid big bucks for those guys, and they had anticipations of going to the postseason. They'll be on the sidelines.
You know what I think they'll do? They'll go out and spend big bucks again because they can.
Outside, it's 1-2. You start to look around their team, and where are their needs? And you look at first base, that's taken care of for a bunch of years. Howie Kendrick's very good at second base. They got a good shortstop inside and Ibar.
Bullpen. Their bullpen went through a lot of problems, especially early in the season. They had Jordan Walden closing games, and they had Scott Downs closing games. Frieri finally finished that off, but then they needed a guy to get to him.
Kevin Jepson finished that up late in the season, but you're right. They don't have the depth that they need in that bullpen. 2-2. Little chopper, and Aaron Sebia will go to first. Good job by JP. He took a look at Denard Span, and Span had to hold his ground at second. Aaron Sebia throws him out. Here's the batting race. Miguel Cabrera had a big night last night. He went 4 for 5 in Kansas City and pretty much secured the MVP in my mind. Mike Trout, he had 4 hits in that LA game last night, and Mauer is now 3rd. So we will have Miguel Cabrera and his at-bats tonight from Kansas City, as we did last night. So he is coming up in about 30 minutes.
I'm pulling for him. I want to see it now. After he hit that home run last night to right field, I want to see him win the Triple Crown.
Wow, that was really something. He put on a show last night, and he and Prince Fielder really took over that ball game.
I looked up some of his numbers against the pitchers that are on the Kansas City Royals and said, you know, he really hits the Kansas City Royals well. The guys who are pitching for the Royals now, his career average is 382 against them. The guys who are on their staff. On base of 434, 12 home runs and 38 RBIs and just 170 at-bats against the Royals.
He's a tough guy to get out. I don't care how you pitch him or who you are. He's always going to have the ability to get some big hits when he needs them. He and Prince Fielder, that's a tough 1-2 combination to work your way through.
380. I mean, that's ridiculous. For a right-handed batter, you're going to be facing a lot of right-handed pitchers. You don't get a lot of infield hits when you're Miguel Cabrera. And you get the power and the production.
Joe Mauer has a 3-0 count. Leonard Span with a leadoff double edges off from second. And there's a 4-pitch walk. So Mauer 0 for 1 so far in this game. Bring to the plate the first baseman, Chris Parmelee.
Blue Jays choosing, if you don't have to pitch to Joe Mauer in a one-run game, I'm not going to do it. That was one of those intentional, unintentional base on balls right there. He wanted no part of Joe Mauer.
So now Parmelee will step in the box with runners at first and second. If you're wondering where Justin Morneau is, the Twins have decided to keep him on the Pines the rest of the season, given his recent history dealing with the concussions last couple of years. Hasn't really been able to work out, and he's just kind of run out of gas.
Running out of gas. The wrist is a little sore right now. We were wondering why he didn't pinch hit in last night's game. Found out about that this afternoon. So they shut him down, and Domit's had some problems. Willingham has had some problems. So Ron Gardenhire's playing with a short bench tonight.
Brian Domit's had a great year. He's established career highs on a lot of offensive departments, but he's got a banged up thumb right now, so he's probably not available. This time of the year, that's what happens. Guys are beat up, and unless you're in an unusual situation or you're fighting for a postseason berth, or unless you're Dustin Pedroia, going to sit it out. Ball and a strike, 1 out. There's a strike right at the top of the strike zone. Jose Bautista back with the ball club. George Poulos. We've seen entirely too much of George this year, as he has had to attend to many Blue Jays that have suffered injuries throughout the course of the season.
Boy, it's good to see Jose, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, just to see him around the ball club and remember what he meant to this offense. We looked at some of the numbers when he was out. Blue Jays were scoring 2 more runs a game when he was in the lineup.
And he had really started to get his stroke together after a slow start to his season by his standards. He had picked it up middle of the season and injured himself in New York on one swing of the bat. Escobar sneaking in behind Span, but Jenkins didn't think there was a play there. 1-2, 1 out. Ground ball. Escobar, Echeverria, back to first. Oh my. Yunel Escobar gave Echeverria a tough feed at second, but Echeverria is starting to look more comfortable even at second. The off balance throw, still plenty of time to end the inning. winner will take home a Sharp home theater system, including audio soundbar, Blu-ray player, and Aquos LCD TV. To enter, visit hitahomerun.sharp.ca. Sharp, big is too small a word for it. Bottom of the fourth inning, Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Boy, the defense has been on their toes tonight behind Chad Jenkins. They've turned a couple of nifty double plays. One off the bat of Joe Mauer in the first, and Chris Parmalee hit into a 6-4-3 double play to end the fourth. Brett Laurie, Adam Lind, J.P. Arancibia to bat in the fourth. Twin starter Anthony Swarzak. There's a high breaking ball. This is his 28th career start. He's worked out the bullpen, and as Pat mentioned earlier, this is the scheduled start for Sam Dadino, but he had an eye irritation, had to leave his last start against the Yankees. And he is against the Tigers, excuse me, and he is unavailable tonight.
So you bring your long man in out of your bullpen, and you got to figure you're hoping for maybe 5 innings. He has thrown 5 innings out of the bullpen in the past, but the arm is just not built up that much to give you that much more.
Yeah, and this time there, obviously, you just tell Anthony, hey, go out there and go as hard as you can, as long as you can. There's a breaking ball. Looked like it might have been off the plate inside. 3-2. Swarzak's a former second-round pick of the Twins in 2004. He comes out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Oh, he fights it off. Swarzak's a little bit like Carlos Villanueva is for the Blue Jays. He made 11 starts last year in 27 games. Kind of a swing man who works out of the bullpen and then has the ability to start for you. So Brett Laurie leads off. There's a man at first, nobody out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Nothing Orioles down in Tampa Bay. Miguel Gonzalez on the mound against James Shields. At the same time, the Yankees are losing 2-0 to the Boston Red Sox in New York.
We saw that highlight right there of Chris Davis hitting that home run. That's 6 straight games now. Last time an Oriole did that, Reggie Jackson in 1976.
How about that?
Homered in 6 straight games for Baltimore.
Reggie's only season with the Orioles in 1976. He would then go to the New York Yankees. Adam Lind back to the mound. Swarzak second for 1, back to first. Easy double play. Anthony Swarzak did a good job of gloving it, taking his time, and throwing a strike to the shortstop.
When you are throwing sinkers like that, the ball comes back at you that quickly, you don't have to speed up. Catch it, set your feet, throw at the top of that mound so you're not coming down. Stay on top of that mound. He delivers a strike and gets an easy double play.
J.P. Arancibia, the catcher. He took a called third strike his first time up, goes after that high breaking ball and rips it into center. Swarzak has been up all night with that breaking ball, and Arancibia took advantage of it.
Well, he can spin a good breaking ball, but if it hangs up there, major league hitters are going to hit it, and they're going to hit it hard. That time, J.P. Arancibia sends it right back through the middle. That's a good-looking swing right there. As Arancibia picks up the base hit.
But JP's aboard. Kelly Johnson, who is the DH tonight. 159 strikeouts this season. That ties a club record set by Jose Canseco in 1998. Outside with the first pitch. Two outs. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Johnson takes one inside. It's 2 balls and a strike. Swarzak's done a pretty good job of economizing on his pitches. He's only thrown 52 pitches. Pretty good ratio as he works with 2 outs in the 4th.
Threw a bullpen the other day. Good fastball right there. 92 miles an hour. Threw a bullpen the other day to get ready for the start. They had a feeling that Meduno was going to miss the start with that high irritation. He had to come out of his last start because of that. So Swarzak, the swingman, gets the start here. He's always given up a lot of hits per innings pitched in his career. Having to work out of a lot of men on base situations.
It'll be a full count. Chris Parmelee, the first baseman, moves behind Aaron Sevilla. And JP will be off on the pitch as there are 2 outs. There goes Aaron Sevilla. Thompson fouls it. Another foul back. Johnson's lost the grip on his bat the last 2 swings. Not really sure what the problem is, but you can see him shaking out that right hand. So he's kind of creating some torque on that thumb.
Watch him finish this one right here and drops that bottom hand like it's a wrist or a finger, part of his hand, the thumb, like you were saying. That's what it certainly looks like to me. He's battled some minor injuries all season long.
Here goes Aaron Sevilla again, and this ball is drilled toward the gap and hit a ton. Way back and gone. Kelly Johnson, a 2-run home run, his 16th of the season.
Nothing wrong with the hand or wrist on that swing. He did it a couple of times in that at bat when he fouled it straight back, but he was just measuring them up. Fastball right down Broadway, and Johnson's a low ball hitter, I think. Pitchers have tried to throw the ball up in the strike zone against him, and they've had success, but when it's down like that, he goes right to it. Hits that ball hard to right center field for home run number 16.
Gives him 55 RBIs on the season, and the home run has been a problem for Swarzak. As a starter, that's the 6th home run he's allowed in this, his 5th start. The ball hit hard, but that's going to be right at the center fielder. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays add 2. Take a 3-0 lead. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Top of the 5th inning here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have a 3-0 lead. Kelly Johnson, a 2-run home run, his 16th home run of the season, has pushed the Blue Jays out in front 3-0. Rajay Davis drove in the first run of the ball game with an RBI single in the 3rd. Chad Jenkins, there's a 2-hopper to the 3rd baseman, Brett Laurie. Plenty of time, 1 down. Trevor Plouffe grounds out to start the inning. We talk about Brett Laurie all the time, and there are few players that play in the American League on the infield that have the physical skills of Brett Laurie. He's quick, he's fast, he has good hands and a strong arm. But as he gains more experience, he's going to be able to manage his inner clock a little bit better. And I think that has caused him more problems. The other day, Robinson Cano hit him a hot shot, and he made a terrific play on him, but then rushed his throw, not realizing that Cano was barely out of the batter's box.
And that's what Brian Butterfield and Brett Laurie have been talking about since that play. And he was asking, and Brian was asking Brett, where was Robinson Cano when you caught the ball? And he didn't really think about that. And he said he barely got out of the dirt part around home plate. What you have to realize then, you can set yourself, you can crow hop a little bit, you can tap the glove if you want. You've got time. You don't have to rush it just because you made a super play. He also asked him, do you think you had a shot at second base? And that's all the kind of stuff that you have to think about, I think, before the play happens.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you know what? And we know Brett, and he is a very animated guy. He's got a lot of energy, and when he made that good play, you know that he's saying, man, that's a good play, and he wants to rush and get it over with, and just got ahead of himself.
I'm going to finish it off, and watch this.
Yeah.
And then, that's where you have to just take a deep breath and just slow it down a little bit. And that will come with time.
This is his 4th professional season. I mean, there are guys, and Wade Boggs comes to mind. I mean, it took like 6 years for Boggs to get to the big leagues. And then, of course, he became a Hall of Fame player. So, you know, I mean, the ceiling is unlimited for Brett Laurie. There's no question about it. And people will try to compare him to Alex Rodriguez or Derek Jeter. Well, he's not there yet. He needs time to gain experience. And he's got a skill set that you rarely see on a baseball field.
Great physical skills and great makeup and all that. You know, all you have to do is watch Omar Vizquel, the way he plays, the pace that he plays the game of baseball at. You know, nothing rushed, nothing in a hurry, everything slows down, and just take your time. Had a chance to watch Scott Rowland when he was here with the Blue Jays, and that was a lot of fun to watch him play third base here.
Miguel Cabrera is at the plate in Kansas City, and we're going to follow all of his bats as he's in pursuit of the Triple Crown. He has a comfortable lead in the batting average. He has a 1 home run lead in home runs and has a lead in the RBI department. So we'll watch his at-bats tonight. Joe Mauer in this ball game has gone 0 for 1 with a walk. His average at .322 as we speak. It's a line drive to left. Rajay Davis will play it on a hop, as Matt Carson has a 1-out single. Sounded like that might have broken his bat, as it didn't have a real ringing sound to it, and that's why it fell in front of Rajay Davis.
Well, when he stays on top and he runs that sinker, and you'll get a lot of baseball bats and you'll break him. That's what he did. Fortunately for Carson, for his 2nd hit this season.
Interesting. We talk about Cabrera winning the batting crown, and Jim Leyland, his team is going to host a playoff game as they won the American League Central Division. Back-to-back postseason appearances for the first time for the Tigers since the 30s. It's amazing that they had that drought. When you think about the Tigers, of course, we think 84, and they were pretty good the last few years, but back-to-back postseason appearances for the first time since the 30s.
Let's see, 68, no, it was a while before they got back. 84, 87, 2006.
You see Miguel Cabrera just got a single to center field, so he'll up his batting average. Last time the Tigers went to back-to-back postseasons, Charlie Gehringer was the big star. 1934, 1935, they went to the World Series in back-to-back seasons. And this is just the first time since that trip to the World Series they have played in back-to-back postseasons. When you really think about the Tigers, it's really an interesting path. They were swept by Kansas City a month ago. And 2 days after that, they were losing to Chicago and fell 3 back. And then they clinched 8 days after getting swept by the Twins. But they have this guy to lean on heavily. His average now at 330. He is a home run ahead in the home run race, and he is a comfortable lead in the RBI department for the first Triple Crown since 1967 when Carl Yastrzemski of the Red Sox won it.
We were always wondering when the Tigers were going to turn it on and win that division. They kind of retooled and they put a lot of money into their roster this year. Good pitch there to get the strikeout. And it was just a matter of time before the Tigers woke up and said, hey, it's time to put the pedal to the metal here and get into the playoffs. Nice strike. Jenkins gets for the strikeout, just his second of the night.
Chris Herman strikes out. There's still a runner at first. 2 outs now. Alexei Casilla, the second baseman. It'll be interesting to watch and keep an eye on Mike Trout. He is batting .325. He's in second place behind Cabrera for the batting title in the American League. He had a big night last night with 4 hits in the game last night. Snap throw to first. It's off the line. 2-0, 2 outs. The Jays lead it 3-0. Matt Carson with a 1-out single. He's at first. Baltimore still leading Tampa Bay 1-0, top of the 5th. And of course, if the Red Sox hold on and beat the Yankees, they'd be in a flat-footed tie again going into the final day of the season. There's a lot at stake.
Yes. Lots to go through here in these last 2 days. And we knew it was going to come down to this. The way these teams have been battling each other all season long.
Okay, now we have seen the impact of a second wild card. Do you like it?
I love it.
There goes the runner. The ball is bounced to first. Easy play for Adam Lind. And the inning is over. Chad Jenkins has gone 5 innings. He's got a 3-0 lead, looking for his first big league win. game with their new Sharp home theater system. To see if you've won, visit Hit a Home Run with Sharp.ca. Sharp, big is too small a word for it. Kelly Johnson's 16th home run of the season, a 2-run shot in the 4th inning, has given the Blue Jays a 3-0 lead. It'll be 8-9-1 for the Blue Jays in the bottom half of the 5th. Moises Sierra starts things on. Goes after that first pitch curveball and misses. Give me your evaluation of Moises Sierra and his first taste of the big leagues.
He's got a lot of talent. He's got a chance, I think, to be a pretty decent player. He seems to be coachable. I like the fact that he is hanging around Edwin Encarnacion, because Encarnacion was a late bloomer. Sierra might be a late bloomer. But he's got something that you can't teach, and that's strength. That's something that not everybody can say they have, and that's a big part of what baseball is all about. He can throw, he can play the outfield. I think there's a few things he can do in his swing to get a little bit better solid contact, a little bit more consistent solid contact.
Sierra grounds out to the third baseman to start the inning. But you're right, power is a very difficult commodity to find, whether it's a power arm or a power bat.
And he plays the game hard. He really does. You watch him go out to his position, and you watch him run the bases, and he seems to really enjoy playing the game of baseball. And don't ever lose that. That's a big part of what makes a big leaguer.
Run down, Anthony Gose. Gose walked to keep the inning going, and he helped the Blue Jays score a run in the third inning. Straightened up with that high fastball. 2 balls, no strikes. Interesting offseason for the Blue Jays. They have a couple of key areas of concern, and we heard it firsthand from the general manager Alex Anthopoulos as he talked about the #1 priority was to improve the starting pitching. And I think it's a very obvious area where you need to improve. And Anthony Gose will walk for a second time tonight.
Enter the Train Like the Blue Jays Brett Laurie contest today at BlueJays.com. Presented by Sport Check. Your better starts here.
Rogers Center, just one more game tomorrow night to put a big bow on a 2012 season, and it has been a disappointing season. No question about it. Blue Jays have 71 wins. Expectations were much higher. Anthony Gose with a big lead at first. He faked the break, and Rajay shows bunt, pulls the bat back, takes the ball.
I'm not sure if this is a fake break for the runner at first base just to get that second baseman to cover and open up that right side of the infield. Usually when base stealers like Gose get a jump, they're trying to steal the base. So it's happened a couple of times, and it surprised me. That tells me that might be that play that they have where you take a couple of steps one more time and watch the second baseman, and look what Rajay has to shoot for.
That won a ball game for the Blue Jays in Boston when Dustin Pedroia bit on that fake and broke to the bag and covered, and there was a ground ball that Jeff Mathis hit, went right at straightaway second base for a base hit. The Blue Jays put together a rally, scored some runs in that inning, and Dustin Pedroia told John Farrell after that game what he thought of that fake break.
I bet you he did. Can we repeat it?
No. And he said, you know what, I won't fall for that again. One out. Goes a little shorter lead now. There he goes. He got a great jump. And that's a tough play for Escobar. And Gose is going to third. Here's the throw. Not in time. Anthony Gose hustling, goes first to third on a ground ball out. He was moving on the pitch, so he had a running start. And it was a tough play for the shortstop, so Gose ran with his head up and moves all the way to third.
And it took a few bounces in the hole, and there was no chance with him taking off on the pitch. There was no chance for the shortstop to go to second base and get the short out there. So once he made the commitment to throw the ball across the diamond, Ghost is going to read this. And there he goes. Picks up another 90 feet. No chance to get him.
You see John Farrell out to talk the call over with Toby Bassner at first. And here's Ghost, and watch him keep his eye on the shortstop. But once that ball goes to first, Anthony goes into third with a hard slide. He is now at third base with 2 outs. Well, I tell you what, that speed puts pressure on the infield, doesn't it?
Man.
Escobar at shortstop knew he had to unload in a hurry and couldn't take any time to look at second with Davis running up the first baseline. Escobar, fair ball down the left field line. Ghost trots home as Escobar is headed for second. Here's the throw and the tag, and Escobar is out. Boy, what a good throw by Matt Carson from left field. Escobar trying to get to second with 2 outs, made a good play, but the left fielder, Matt Carson, threw a strike to second to end the inning. But Escobar gets credited with the single. He's out at second. Strong throw from Carson. Enjoying those big comfy green chairs in TD Comfort Zone are lucky fans enjoying a seat upgrade courtesy of TD. From the ballpark, and you never really know where you might end up sitting, maybe right on the field.
I'll take one of those boxes. I'd rather have the comfort of the boxes. What do you think? I don't want to be that close.
Now, we have been that close before, and at our age, it's not fun. There's a hot shot right over the mound as Escobar leads things off with a single. Eduardo Escobar, pretty interesting guy. He's a switch hitter that could play the middle of the infield.
Sinker right over the middle of the plate, goes right to the barrel of the bat for Escobar. Got some time with the White Sox in 2011, a little bit this year. Got into 36 games with the White Sox earlier this season.
Robin Ventura was concerned about the loss of Escobar, but they got a starting pitcher in return, so you can't really argue that.
Yeah, you have to make some choices there when you're trying to get into the playoffs. He was voted the best defensive infielders in the White Sox organization 3 straight seasons. You can see why Robin Ventura didn't want to give him up.
Ventura really felt that he was the best option they had at backing up third base with Kevin Youkilis. Leadoff man Denard Span drills it to right, and this is not going to stay in the yard. A 2-run home run for Denard Span. His 4th home run of the season, and that cuts the Blue Jays lead right in half. It's now 4-2 Jays.
Well, that didn't take long. After they got ahead 4-0, single 3 pitches into it, and it's now 4-2. And that will probably do it for Chad Jenkins, trying to get 6 innings in for the first time. Bernard Span doesn't waste any time. Down and in, and see it to right field.
Short, quick stroke, no stride, and he drills it over the bullpen in right. It's a 2-run home run, and that will do it for Chad Jenkins. Jenkins out of the game. He's still in line for the win. Aaron Loup on to face Ben Revere. Of 5 hits, 2 earned runs, a 2-run home run by Bernard Span chases him out of this game. Through 74 pitches and had a game score just one above the league average at 50, and he's in line for his first big league win.
And it'll be up to the bullpen now. Aaron Loup was the first one that comes out. 0-2 with a 273 earned run average. He worked 3 straight days in that Yankees series against New York, so they had to give him some time off. He was off yesterday. And you've got a couple of lefties coming up. Revere, Maurer. Normally hits left-handed. So they have Loup out there to try and finish off this inning.
Aaron Loup's been a very pleasant surprise. We talk about all the position players and how the young players have come up and impressed. Well, Loup came out of nowhere. We didn't see him in spring training, and when he joined this ball club, we really didn't know much about him. But boy, has he done a good job. Bouncing ball up the middle, and they're not going to have a play. Escobar tried to flip it to Echeverria, but Revere runs too well. Escobar was able to put a glove on it, but that'll be an infield hit for Ben Revere. That's a set the table for Joe Mauer.
Really no chance for Escobar to catch the ball and throw it. Even if he held on to that ball and tried to make the throw, they're not going to get Revere.
Now, his momentum was so high that he wasn't going to be able to stop and make a throw, and really he had no play. So still nobody out. Joe Mauer steps in. Mauer has hit into a double play and walked. It's the first pitch strike. Mauer getting his first look at Aaron Loup. Loup has not faced the Twins, and we mentioned in last night's game this was the first visit in 547 days. This series, they had opened up the 2011 season, and this is their first return visit to Rogers Center.
Isn't it funny how baseball is? You have all these great plans in the wintertime, and you go to spring training, and there's still a player or two who'll just slip right under the radar and will surprise you in spring training. And we're talking about Aaron Loup.
But it was interesting. The guy that really surprised everybody in spring training was Evan Crawford, the left-hander. And he looked like he was going to be the sleeper and fill this role. But Crawford didn't pan out, and Luke came up from Double-A, and it doesn't look like he wants to give this role up.
Yeah, you mentioned that we didn't see him in spring training. I never even heard of him in spring training. We're talking to some of that's a heck of a pitch. They're talking to some of the Blue Jay people. They kept saying, "Don't forget about this guy. He's coming on. He's starting to hit his stride." And they brought him up here, and it looks like he's been pitching in the big leagues for 5 or 6 years.
Got a very difficult delivery for left-handed hitters, and there's none better than Joe Mauer. That had a lot of the plate, and Mauer couldn't even offer at it. They got a little crossfire delivery, tough to pick up, and then he throws harder than most sidearmers. When you think of Clay Rapata and Mike Myers and those left-handed sidearmers, they don't have the velocity and the life. And there's a throw to first. The return throw is in time. Boy, what a good throw by Adam Lynn. Luke went to first base. Lynn stepped inside the baseline and made a quick, accurate throw to Escobar to nail Revere.
You don't have much time with the runner like that. He went on first movement. Luke got it to Lynn very quickly, and Adam got it to Escobar even quicker. Looked like a middle infielder turning a double play there as he fires it over to Escobar. Revere slides right into the bag, and Escobar tags him for the second out.
So that's a caught stealing 1-3-6, second out of the inning. Chris Parmelee, the first baseman, falls behind 0-1. Broken bat. Laurie cuts in front of Escobar and makes a heck of a play. I don't know if Escobar can make that play. The ball wouldn't hit very hard, but Laurie cuts in front of the shortstop and makes another fine defensive play. So Aaron Luke comes into the ball game, retires the 3 he faced with help from Laurie at third. Chris Newman from London, Ontario, for being selected tonight's Blackberry Tweeting Tuesday Fan of the Game. A reminder to follow the Blue Jays on Twitter. You know the Blue Jays have over 170,000 Twitter followers, and Chris Newman is one of them, and we appreciate your support.
Kyle Waldrop is now into the ballgame for the Minnesota Twins. He will take over for Anthony Swarzak. Waldrop started the season on the disabled list and then was activated on June the 1st. Went down to AAA. He's been a reliever. There are his numbers: 0-1, 279 home run average in just 16 games for the Minnesota Twins. Tall right-hander with good downward movement on his pitches.
Brett Laurie has grounded out and walked. Walked his last time up. He takes a strike. It's 1-1. Good sinking fastball as it broke down and in, and Laurie got a piece of it. 1-2. Bottom of the 6th inning. Blue Jays lead 4-2. Sharp bouncing ball. Proof makes a nice play and airmails it over first base all the way into the seats. Boy, he made a nice grab. And Laurie runs well. He was out of the box in a hurry, and Proof rushed his throw and made a wild throw.
You know, that has been the problem for him. He's had that great home run the time that he went through, and he's got good hands. It's been the throwing. This is going to be at third base his 19th error. He has shown soft hands, but then throwing across the diamond, he's had a problem with that. And just like that, Laurie is going to end up at second base.
Brett Laurie is credited with an infield hit because of his speed. But if that's a good throw, I think it's a routine 5-3 play. Proof picks up the air. The air allows Laurie to go to second. Adam Lind is 0 for 2. He peeled down to third. Marvin Hudson said no swing. We got so many great baseball games going on in both leagues that have playoff implications. And Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn did a good job of keeping us all up to date with those updates. But there's an unusual situation that took place tonight in Miami. And we'll allow them to tell you all about it, because there's a lot of things going on in baseball, and this might be one of the coolest things that's happened in years. Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn will break it all down for you in the next update. So Lind walks, 2 on, nobody out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, Adam Greenberg got an at-bat 7 years ago with the Cubs and came to the plate and got hit in the head and never had another at-bat until tonight. Jeffrey Loria, the owner of the Marlins, signed him to a contract, and they agreed that he would get an opportunity to come to the plate. Oz again put him into pinch hit in the 6th inning. He pinch hit for Brian Peterson, the left fielder, and struck out on 3 pitches against Ari Dickey. But it's a modern version of Moonlight Graham.
Moonlight Graham. Wasn't it the Marlins who hit him also? He was playing with the Cubs.
Playing with the Cubs, I believe it was. Okay. And he got a chance to sign, and he has donated his salary for the portion of his major league contract to the Sports Legacy Institute via the Marlins Foundation. But it was July 9th, 2005, when he was hit by a pitch. Never got back to the big leagues until this at bat tonight. Pretty cool. So he never had a major league at bat, and this was his first big league at bat tonight.
That is Moonlight Graham.
Yep.
From Field of Dreams, if people don't know who Moonlight Graham is.
Archie Moonlight Graham. He became Doc Graham and practiced medicine in Minnesota. JP Arancibia with 2 on and nobody out. Well, that's a good sinker. That ball just disappears.
Yeah, he gets on top of it. He can get a lot of ground ball outs with that.
Ball and a strike. Outside. The hits are even at 6 apiece. The Blue Jays have a 4-2 lead. A couple of 2-run home runs in the game. Kelly Johnson hit a 2-run homer in the 4th. Denard Span for the Twins hit a 2-run home run in the 6th. Fly ball into center field. Span calling off. Revere makes the catch. Anthony Swarzak got the start. It's his 28th major league start, and he really held his own. 5 innings, 5 hits, 4 earned runs. He walked 3 and struck out 2. It was an emergency start. He was filling in for Sam Deduno. And his game score for the ball game is 40. And now he turns things over to Kyle Walker. Kelly Johnson, we mentioned his home run. That was back in the 4th.
That was off a low fastball from Swarzak. There's Gardy, the manager, but Waldrop's got that sinker. That might play into what Kelly Johnson can do. A low ball hitter.
Bouncing ball. This could be to Casilla to Escobar. It is a double play. 4-6-3 double play ends the inning. Twins get that ground ball they were looking for. The Blue Jays leave a base runner. We have played 6. It's 4-2 Jays. How many years you have in. Brian Butterfield talking to Brent Laurie in between innings, and see Laurie, boy, he is focused on what Butter's telling him.
He's locked in, isn't he? I love that. Young players, that might be about base running right there. He was on base. That could have to do with his fielding over at third base, but I love that when a young player looks him eye to eye like that. You know he's listening to him. Steve Delabar will take over after a great job by Aaron Loop to get out of that problem in the 6th inning. Delabar in 60 games with Seattle and Toronto has been sensational. He's got a good fastball. His splitter, I think, is a welcome addition to the bullpen for the Blue Jays, averaging almost 13 strikeouts per 9 innings.
Blue Jays still have some work to do in their bullpen. When you look at their ranks in the American League, they are still 14th in bullpen ERA with a 4.36 ERA. Hits allowed, they've allowed too many hits overall, but they're headed in the right direction. Big question marks now. Darren Oliver come back. Can you re-sign Brandon Lyon, who's a free agent at the end of the year? I mean, those are big arms that you'd like to have back.
And there's just so many decisions that have to be made when you're the general manager. You feel like you have one aspect of the game taken care of, and it's like there's a leak in the dike, and you go and put your finger over in that one and fix that. Then there's another leak over here. I mean, it never stops, and this is going to be a big offseason, I think, for the front office.
Yeah, it never does stop. We are going to join the Tigers in Kansas City as Miguel Cabrera is about to come to the plate once again. And a reminder, we're going to keep track of Cabrera's at bats throughout the night as long as we're on the air. Miguel Cabrera has a hit already tonight, and his average is up to 330. Bauer's average has dipped to 321. Mike Trout is second in the American League at the start of play tonight. And you can see Miguel Cabrera set to step in the batter's box in Kansas City. What a great player he is. And we talked about how he put the team first when he volunteered to move from first base to third base to open up the opportunity to bring in Prince Fielder. Trevor Plouffe, the third baseman, with a 2-2 count, hits it hard. That's a fair ball down the left side. Rajai Davis plays it perfectly off the wall. Here's the throw, the slide, and Plouffe is in there, and he comes off the bag. Oh, and Echeverria swiped at him. Tim McClellan, the second base umpire, was standing right on top of it. Looked like Echeverria made a swipe once that Plouffe lost contact with the bag.
Well, we'll be able to see on the replay. Rajai plays it off the wall, fires it. It's off target just a little bit. Echeverria goes down, tags him. It looks like he thinks he had him right on that finger. And then he gave up the play right there. He thinks he has him right there, and the play's over. But then Plouffe goes back and tags the bag, and that's what the umpire saw.
How about that? Plouffe stuck his hand in there, took it away, and Echeverria tried to tag him on the leg, and Plouffe reached around with his left hand.
I thought he got him with the first tag. When he got him, it looked like his finger was in the dirt, his hand was in the dirt. It looked like he got a little piece of that with his glove.
Leadoff double. Pat Carson hits it to short. Plouffe returns to second as Carson's thrown out. Miguel Cabrera had another hit in Kansas City, a 2-run single. And the Tigers have taken a 2-1 lead, but the score is academic as the Tigers have sealed their fate for the postseason, but there are the updated numbers. 331 average now. So he has taken a big lead in that batting race.
His numbers bearing out in his career. 382 versus those pitchers on Kansas City. I told you, he tears them up.
You were all over that. Chris Herman, the catcher, has gone 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Herman is 24 years old. He was a 6th-round draft pick of the Twins in 2009. He was selected by the Orioles in 2008, but did not sign. Ground ball. Echeverria at second. In plenty of time. 2 outs.
Want a great burger for a great price? Try one of the new Buddy Burgers at A&W, made with grilled fresh onions. They're a little taste of burger bliss, starting at only $1.75.
Two outs now. Trevor Plouffe's at third base. Alexi Garcia has grounded out twice. It's after the first pitch. Chris Carpenter is starting for the St. Louis Cardinals against Cincinnati's Matt Latos. Cardinals have taken a 1-0 lead top of the third, and if they win,
they're in and it's over. The Dodgers, doesn't matter there. Dodgers need some help. They need St. Louis to lose 2. They need to win 2 against San Francisco, and then that just gets them a playoff.
Dodgers had a walk-off win last night. Elian Herrera drove in the winning run in that ball game against the Giants. And those two, they don't care what the situation is. They both want to beat each other. San Francisco and the Dodgers, a great rivalry. There's a base hit down the right field line. That's going to go all the way into the corner. Plouffe comes in to score. Casilla is headed for second, and he'll get there with an RBI double with 2 outs. his 17th double of the season, and it's a one-run game.
Well, that would have been a big run to save right there, but the ball was up by Delabar. And Casilla, he doesn't move. He's like Span. Not a lot of movement, no stride, just use your hands, and that is what helps you turn around a fastball. It's 95 miles an hour. Rips it into the corner in right field, and he'll end up at second base with a double.
It's an interesting approach, and one you don't see all the time, where they just start from a static position, not an awful lot of movement. Just a very subtle pushback with that front foot.
Well, the Twins have been very famous, I think, over the last few years of using the whole field and becoming good hitters. J.J. Hardy couldn't do it. Remember when J.J. Hardy was there, they asked him to hit the ball the other way. He's not that type of hitter. David Ortiz was with Minnesota, and they wanted him to learn to hit the ball the other way. He says, I'm not that type of hitter. And then he goes to Boston, and the rest is history.
Yeah, not everybody can hit like that, for sure.
But they've got Casilla and Escobar and Span and Revere, and their whole team is full of those type of hitters that can hit the ball all over the ballpark.
Joe Mauer's like that.
Yep.
For a big guy, he has that same type of approach. Very quiet approach, not a whole lot of wasted motion. Justin Morneau is different in that he's a power hitter, and although he has power to the opposite field, he's not the same type of hitter as Joe Mauer. Mauer's already won 3 batting titles.
Oh, it works. It definitely works, and that's what the Twins have been known for. There was a time back in the day where the Twins were just power hitters, big time power hitters. And I'm talking about the Harmon Killebrew teams, and then you go all the way up to the Kent Herbeck and Gary Gaetti, Puckett, Brunansky. I mean, up and down the lineup there was power.
Bat is shattered. Echeverria quickly to first in time, and the inning is over. Eduardo Escobar gets sawed off by Steve Delamar. The Twins score a run, and Echeverria makes a good play to end the inning. It's 4-3 Jays, middle of the 7th. On Facebook today. There are 5 ways to win this year, including a grand prize draw for Canada's largest LCD TV, a 90-inch Sharp Aquos. Join Sharp Canada on Facebook today. Danny Echeverria goes after the first pitch and fouls it out one. Echeverria doubled and scored in the 3rd. He's also lined to center. Hits this one hard, backhanded by Casilla. Easy out, 1 down. Lexi Casilla making his 83rd start at second base. Jamie Carroll has played a lot of second base. Casilla, pretty interesting guy. He's pretty versatile. Looks like they might have their shortstop of the future in Pedro Florimon.
Right. And Casilla was playing some shortstop. And all the Minnesota Twins asked their middle infielders to do is just make the routine play. Just catch the ball. No flash, none of that. Just make the routine play day in and day out, and they'll be fine. Didn't they release Nishioka?
Yes.
The other day?
Japanese player they had signed to play shortstop last year. He had a tough go. He broke his leg in a collision at second base, never really recovered, and they let him go.
Yep, just wasn't working out for him.
Bouncing ball, Casilla gets a big hop and throws to first. Sierra's retired. 2 ground ball outs to second.
Waldrop was a former #1 pick of the Minnesota Twins back in 2004. Showing you that he can get that ball on the ground. Blue Jays haven't been able to get the ball up in the air except one time. He has now faced 6 batters and only 1 ball in the air. A fly ball by J.P. Arancibia.
John Farrell really believes that's a tremendous asset for a pitching staff that you put together for the Jays. Play on artificial turf, keep the ball on the ground, and it's a home run ballpark.
Yeah.
So,
I think also if you pitch in the American League East, think of all the ballparks in the American League East. Yankee Stadium, home run hitters ballpark. Camden Yards, Fenway Park. This ballpark, the ball flies out here. I think you have to load up your starting rotation with a lot of sinker ballers.
Tropicana Field. They're all hitters ballparks. And there are a lot of hitters in the AL East.
And I'm not saying to go out there and just get sinker ballers. I'm talking about guys who can
power sinkers.
Power sinkers. Yep. Yeah. So if they miss, they get the ball on the ground.
0-2. Anthony Gose.
I think the one thing you don't want to do when you've got the type of lineups that you're going to face is have fly ball pitchers. Not in this division.
Bouncing ball. Escobar quickly in time to get the speedy Anthony Gose. A quick inning for Waldrop. He retires the Jays in order. We'll go to the 8th. It's a 4-3 ball game. Blue Jays have a 1-run lead. Tuesday, and once again, we'd like to remind you, you can follow your favorite Blue Jays on Twitter all year long. They're always entertaining. They always have a lot to talk about. They keep you up to date on what they are doing. They'll take you right into the off-season. Log on to Twitter.com and check them out. There are the names, and you can log on to your favorite Blue Jays Twitter account and find out what's up with them. New pitcher for the Blue Jays will be the veteran Darren Oliver, and you just wonder, might this be his last big league appearance?
Yeah, there are rumors going around that this might be his last season. The Blue Jays have an option for next season. It's been a great year for Oliver. 61 games this season. This is number 62. He's only been scored upon once out of his last 4 times to the mound. And the ERA actually has risen to 2.10 over his last couple of outings.
Darren Oliver will turn 42 years old on October 6th. Just 4 days from now, on Saturday. He's contemplating the end of his career, retiring. He's had a phenomenal career that started back in 1988 with the Texas Rangers in the Gulf Coast League. Denard Span has hit a double and a 2-run home run. He's 2 for 3. Rajay Davis almost in his tracks, makes the catch. 1 out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Darren Oliver gets the first batter he faces in the 8th. Ben Revere, another lefty bat, takes a breaking ball.
He's been doing that all season long. Just flip that breaking ball over for strike 1. Let you swing just a little bit faster, then jam you with a fastball.
Ground ball past Echeverria into right. Ben Revere, a 1-out single.
Out of the reach of Echeverria. 3 hits now again for Revere tonight.
Joe Mauer. Mauer struck out looking against Aaron Loop his last at bat. Way outside and grabbed by Aaron Cedia. Joe Mauer is one of the best when it comes to batting average. You take a look at the highest average since 2005, and there's Miguel Cabrera and Joe Mauer. They are 1-2. Albert Pujols just behind at 321. Matt Holliday of the Cardinals and Ichiro Suzuki now of the Yankees.
Well, you know what you see from all of those players that we just flashed up there, except Suzuki. He's got his own brand of hitting. Every one of those guys are very balanced at the plate. They've got a great base to work off of when they're trying to hit. You don't see them off balance at all. They got great plate coverage, obviously hand-eye coordination. They're just great hitters. And whenever you get a chance to watch these guys, you got to stop and watch them at their craft because it's fun.
Tremendous plate discipline, great recognition, and of course a boatload of natural talent.
Yeah. And the will to be good. Get out there and practice.
Joe Mauer is 3rd in the batting race, but he's 1st in on-base percentage in the American League. He's ahead of Prince Fielder, Mike Trout, Miguel Cabrera, and Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin's had a terrific season. He's 5th in on-base percentage, and he is right there with all of the leaders in many of the great offensive categories. Edwin is 3rd in runs batted in, tied with Josh Willingham of the Twins. Fly ball into center, goes back in front of the warning track. Mauer's retired. He's got 0 for 3.
You know, to really appreciate what great hitters are, that bunch that we just threw up there, I wish the fans could stand behind home plate. You know, they put a net or something right behind the home plate umpire and just watch that baseball come in there as fast as it does and how much movement, and then you appreciate how good these guys really are. because it's the toughest thing to do, I think, in sports is hit a baseball.
Ted Williams always said that. He said it's the hardest thing in sports to square up a round baseball with a round bat. And the great ones like Cabrera and Pujols and Joe Mauer do it consistently year in and year out.
You know, just going down there for batting practice and watching how quickly the game is played in batting practice, you get a great appreciation for what these guys can do.
And you know what? There's a difference even between major league players. When you hear the bat when Cabrera is taking BP, it's different than anybody else. He squares it up on a consistent basis. As Parmalee fouls it back. 2 outs. We are in the top of the 8th inning. It's a 4-3 Blue Jays lead. Ball on the strike. Of course, Ben Revere is a threat to steal. He was caught stealing back in the 6th inning by Aaron Loup. Revere went on the first move of Loup, and Loup threw to first, and Lynn made a nice throw to short to the bag at second, and the shortstop, Yunel Escobar, tagged out Revere. Revere is 3rd in the American League behind Mike Trout and Rajay Davis with 40 steals.
And before that, caught stealing. They've only been caught 7 times all year long. And Oliver thinks something's up. It's 3 straight times he's gone over to first base.
First baseman Chris Parmalee and make it 4. Oliver understands the significance of Ben Revere. He's a tying run.
Those last 4 times that Oliver's picked up that front foot, Revere has taken a step back towards the bag. And he does not have a very big lead if he's thinking about stealing.
Yeah, he can't get a read on Oliver. He's not really sure where he's going, whether he's coming to first or going home. First move again, and now they've got him in a rundown. And Yunel Escobar tags Revere. He guessed wrong again. Second time he's been caught trying to steal. 4-3 ball game. Now let's check in. It's a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn from the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. Saturday, hosted by Jamie Campbell, Greg Zahn, and our own Pat Tablet. We'll see you prior to the first divisional playoff game Saturday afternoon. The playoff preview show. They'll get you caught up on everything you need to know about the upcoming baseball playoffs right here on SportsNet. Looking forward to that. Should be an interesting time to start the postseason.
Yeah, we get to talk about who we think is going to win and the matchup, everything. Those are always fun. When you start really delving into the numbers and the matchups and everything like that, you get an idea who's going to win it. So we will see there. But right now, Luis Perdomo will come into this ballgame for the 14th time this year, getting some work for the Minnesota Twins. Got a good arm, fastball, split, slider. Lefties he has handled because of that split. Righties not so much at 370.
Blue Jays have a one-run lead as they bat in the bottom of the eighth. Top of the order, Davis, Escobar, and Laurie. First pitch strike. Davis slices it out of play. Perdomo's 28 years old. He turned 28 at the end of April. He was originally with the Indians. Signed as a non-drafted free agent in 2003. Pitched in the big leagues with San Diego, and here he knocks one down, got a glove on it, and almost threw it away at first, but it promptly makes the grab, and Davis has retired it. Caught Perdomo. He is now limping around the mound. Looked like he got a glove on it initially, but obviously the way he's reacting, that hit him in the leg.
Yeah, when he first came back there, it looks like he got glove on it, knocked it down. But then after he threw that ball over to first base to get the out, I think it got him in the shin. Right now, the excitement to make the play. He's pretty fired up about that, but then once he gets the out, realizes that ball hit him on the calf or the shin area, and then started limping around.
Well, Ron Gardner, the manager, is confident that Perdomo is okay. But you can see it checking with him to make sure. So he'll stay on. Kyle Wandrop did a great job for the Twins. Well, just one hit in 2 innings of work. And he can keep the ball on the ground. And 3 ground balls out, ground ball outs in the 7th.
It's a good time for managers to get a look at some of the young players. Not necessarily make a decision on them for next year, but just take a look at them and see what they can do in a big league setting.
You know, Escobar takes a slider for a strike. Casey Jansen with a 1-run game is loosening up. Picked up his 21st save of the season on Saturday. Ball on the strike to Blue Jays shortstop. Blue Jays won last night's game 6-5 in 10 innings. Made that guy come back for the second game. Two and 1. $13,930 in attendance here tonight. Blue Jays have had a good year. Over 2 million have passed through the turnstiles at Rogers Center. Blue Jays have averaged over 26,000 through the first 79 games of their schedule. Escobar will take a walk. It comes with 1 out in the 8th. And Brett Laurie will come to the plate. He is 1 for 2 with a walk tonight. Had an infield hit. Reached second base on the ear by Trevor Booth.
Time right here. See that first pitch and just jump all over right after a walk. Look for that first one, see if you can get it into the gap and score Escobar from first base.
I think that's one thing that Dwayne Murphy has tried to convey to Brett Lawrie, that just be thinking about a fastball. Perdomo not really sure what they're calling here, and you can see Casilla coming in to help translate a bit with Chris Herman. Herman's catching just for the second time in his big league career. So Casilla comes in quickly from second base to help out.
Yeah, he had a message he wanted to talk to his pitcher about what they want to do here. And it looked like Herman put down breaking ball for the first pitch. And he shook him off. And then they wanted to go ahead and talk about it. But that point you were making about, you're right, Dwayne Murphy thought and thinks that at times Brett Lawrie and some other batters for the Blue Jays take too many fastball strikes that right there that are very hittable.
Bouncing ball to short. Escobar goes to second. That's all they'll get. Yunel Escobar is out on the 6-4 fielder's choice. We have 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Scott Rowland homers off Chris Carpenter. Matt Latos is the starter for Cincinnati. And that's an interesting game because the Washington Nationals and the Reds are tied for the #1 seed in the National League. Washington currently leads Philadelphia 3-1, bottom of the 7th. So that's an interesting situation in the National League. Adam Lind will be the batter, and with that, Tyler Robertson will come into the ball game. He appeared last night, gave up a double to Lind. Faced one batter. That was Adam Lind, who had an RBI double off of Robertson in the 7th.
That was only the 12th hit against the left-handed batter he'd given up all season long. 62 at-bats, 12 hits. And that's why that left-handed batter's number is 194. Lots of breaking balls from Robertson. Doesn't throw extremely hard. He'll throw a lot of sliders to the lefties. And his job right now, one batter, that's Adam Lind.
Remember, Miguel Cabrera is coming to the plate in Kansas City. He's on deck right now, and when he steps into the batter's box, we will go to that game and show you Cabrera's at-bats. Miguel Cabrera trying to wrap up a triple crown. Got a home run in last night's game. Give him 44 for the season. And here he is now. He's already 2 for 2 tonight. His average up to 331. It's a breaking ball and drives it down the right side. It's a fair ball, and Cabrera is out. Nice running catch in right field by Jeff Francoeur. So Cabrera is 2 for 3. Lind has the count in his favor, 2-0. Downstairs, it's 3-0. Remember, more baseball coming up later on. The Texas Rangers and Oakland Athletics will play in Oakland. Matt Harrison, the left-hander for Texas, goes up against Travis Blackley. Blackley's had 2 rough starts, his last 2 starts. Matt Harrison going for his 19th win. And he has tied Kenny Rogers for the most wins by a left-hander in club history.
And if Blackley comes up big tonight, dead heat.
Flat-footed tie. Texas enters that game tonight with a 1-game lead. Oakland has won 4 straight. They've won 7 of their last 10, while Texas is stumbling to the wire. They have won just 4 of their last 10. Full count. There goes the runner. Ground ball right side. Casilla waits on Robertson, and he drops the ball. Robertson got there in plenty of time. Casilla made a heck of a play, and Robertson just couldn't grab the baseball as he was at first and dropped the ball.
Yeah, it looked like everything was going to work out for the Minnesota Twins. Casilla got to the ball. He led him perfectly. He got the ball to Robertson before he got to the bag. Gives it to him, catches it, he's at the bag, touches the bag, and then drops the baseball. All hands are safe. He just forgot to squeeze that glove, and I'm sure that's going to be an error on the pitcher, and that will cost him. The inning can't be over. Ron Gardenhire goes back to the bullpen.
So for a second straight night, Robertson can't retire Adam Lind. Casey Fien in with 2 outs and 2 on. Will begin October 5th right here on Sportsnet. Right across the network, you'll be able to see the wild card games and all of the postseason games right up to the last out of the World Series. We'll have it all right here on Sportsnet, and it begins October 5th. That's Friday. The wild card games will be on Friday, and that's a 1-game format. 2 wild card teams in each league will hook up to advance to the division series. Casey Fien throws the first pitch strike to J.P. Arancibia.
We saw Casey Fien last night. This will be his 35th game of the season. He's got a good arm. Doesn't walk anybody. Look at that, just 9 walks this season. Lefties, righties having trouble with him. Good fastball, a little bit of a slider, curveball, a little bit of everything. He's got a good arm. Third of an inning in last night's game. He struck out the batter that he faced.
outside. Tampa Bay and Baltimore are in the bottom of the ninth. It's a 1-0 Oriole lead. Chris Davis hit the home run, as Jamie Campbell told you earlier, his 33rd. James Shields completes 9 innings, gives up 2 hits, didn't walk a batter, and struck out a franchise record 15. Jim Johnson into the game now for the Orioles. He has walked Ben Zobrist, and Evan Longoria is at the plate. Miguel Cabrera is out of the ball game in Kansas City. Omar Infante takes over at third base. He leaves the game hitting .331 with 44 homers and 139 RBIs. Triple Crown is intact.
Yep. Got 1 game to go.
Arancibia high and deep to left. Denard Span gets back and makes the catch. He runs it down. The inning is over. We will go to the 9th. The Blue Jays have a 4-3 lead. Casey Janssen moved into the closer's role in May, and he loves what he's doing. He's looking for his 22nd save tonight to make it 2 in a row for the Jays. Casey Janssen had a 1-2-3 9th inning in last night's game. Had a pair of strikeouts for Janssen. He's making his 62nd appearance, and he's looking for his 22nd save.
This is game number 62 for Janssen. His career high in games 70 back in 2007. That's when he pitched out in the bullpen. He also made 17 starts the year before, but now he has found himself as the closer for the Blue Jays, and what a job he has done.
Chris Parmalee, the first baseman. Parmalee has gone 0 for 3 tonight. He grounded into a double play in the 4th. Foul ball. Jim Johnson gets Jeff Keppinger to ground into a force play. The game is over in Tampa Bay. A 1-0 game for the Orioles. So they now close to a half game behind the Yankees. Boston leads New York top of the 8th 2-1. Jim Johnson picks up his 51st save of the season. And Chris Davis homers for the 6th straight game, his 33rd. A lot of good things going on with the Orioles.
Remember when we were talking to Jim Johnson in spring training, the Blue Jays were going to play him, and you were asking him, so what do you want to do? I'd love to start. You think he might want to take that back?
3 count. Parmalee. It's called up. One down. Now it's time for a preview. What's coming up next on Connected? Here's Ivanka Osmak and George Popoulos. Interesting story, and Ivanka and George will break it all down for you on Connected coming up right after this game. First pitch swinging. Trevor Plouffe, high fly ball. But Danny Echeverria out into the outfield to make the catch. 2 down.
It's the thing I like about Jansen. I mean, he has a definite game plan of what he wants to do, how he's going to do it, and he doesn't mess around. He's always been known as a strike thrower, and you can see that intensity on his face, and the batter's not even in the batter's box yet.
There's a strike. Two down. Matt Carson. Blue Jays lead. Chad Jenkins, the pitcher of record. This would be his first big league win.
Jansen's got a couple of pitches he can get you out with. He's got a good curveball. He can cut his fastball.
Base hit up the middle. Carson keeps the inning alive. That's his second hit tonight. He's 2 for 4.
That one just up and too much of the plate. 1 and 2. Thought he might drop that overhand slow curveball on him right there, but he elects to go fastball away, cuts it, and it stays up. Bangs it right back through. They don't have a pinch runner.
Here, the former Blue Jay, Darren Mastriani, will come off the bench, representing the tying run at first. Mastriani has 21 steals in 24 attempts. Chris Herman, the catcher, takes strike 1. If the Blue Jays win this game, it'll guarantee them 4th spot in the AL East. Not that that's ever a goal, but it'll be the first time the Red Sox have finished in last place since 1992. 0-2, 2 outs. Mastriani at first. Ground ball. Escobar, it's short. Game is over. The Blue Jays win it. 4-3. Casey Jansen with his 22nd save of the season. Kelly Johnson, a 2-run home run in the 4th. Put the Blue Jays up 3-0. They added a big run in the 5th. You have Escobar driving in that 4th run, makes the difference in the ballgame.
And congratulations to Chad Jenkins, who wins his first big league game. 5 innings. He actually pitched into the 6th inning, gave up a 2-run home run. They turned it over to the bullpen, and they were lights out. John Farrell gets the win tonight for his rookie. Casey Jansen with another good outing to pick up the save.
Blue Jays will wrap up the season tomorrow night. The season finale. Scott Diamond, the Canadian, will go to the mound, opposed by Brandon Moss. Stay tuned. Connected coming right up. Ivanka Osmak and George Popoulos will break it all down.